going, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys notice this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by MSOTD Rocks or Rock and Metal Thrive. Happy Tuesday. It is November 9th, and this is a wild and wacky episode for you guys. And before we get into it, I want to thank our sponsors. Yes, sponsors. First off, Phoenix Fitness. Yeah, you guys know me. Mosh pits are my thing. I'm constantly sticking in them. I will not relent. Oh, I broke my finger in one. I kept going. So I don't want to jump out of one. I got to make sure my fitness is on key. So, or on point, as the kids say. So I got to make sure, I'm working out hard, lifting weights, doing a lot of cardio, but I got to make sure I recover right, prepare right. That's where Phoenix Fitness comes in. Different supplements like pre-workouts, creatines, proteins, B-cell recovery compounds, multivitamins, anything you need to help achieve your fitness goals, recover right, prepare right. Phoenix Fitness has for you. Our listeners get 15% off at fnxfit.com using the code MSOTD at checkout, link description below. Our other sponsor is from Custom Debuts. This is a company that creates a lot of stuff for like custom orders, posters, all this cool stuff for the music obsessed. So taking a look at some of the stuff they do, they've got like a couple of posters when it comes to custom album prints, custom vinyl lyric prints where it looks like, lyrics are in a vinyl record, and custom spiral lyric prints where it's like a vinyl record poster kind of thing and the lyrics are spiraling around. I'm going to end up getting one of the custom album prints because it's like the album cover on the poster with like the track list underneath, a couple other things underneath as well. And even if you don't like it, like you don't like the design they come up with for your custom, because they ask you the album, the artist name, they put it together for you within 2 days. You can, work with them. It's a creative customizable to whatever you want in stuff like wood frame, like a canvas wrap, like wood frame, museum paper, canvas wrap, or even an aluminum print, whatever you want. So it's freaking cool. It's freaking awesome. Absolutely like the idea behind it. So we'll make it happen for you guys. You can use the code CPP10 to get 10% off your order. CustomDebuts.com. Links in the description below. Thank you guys. So today we're going back to the Eastern North Carolina rock scene with Hollow Intent. Yes, Will is on the podcast and talks about some of the shows they've recently been playing in terms of, you remember that episode I did with Seasons where they talk about going to see the show with Seasons and GFM? Yeah, we recorded this the day after that show, so we talked about that show. That's why I got the GFM sweatshirt on. We talked about their set at Blue Ridge a little bit. We talked about them with the Battle of Bands against Saul. We also get a little more in-depth with the fuck Ronnie Radke story from Blue Ridge because one of Hollow Intent's biggest fans was the guy that did that. So we get a little more of the inside story there, which is super fun to listen to. And then we dive deep into the brand new song by Hollow Intent called Hypocrite featuring Kalvin Pender of Waking Tera. Also has been the podcast for as well. Love those guys. This is one of the funnest episodes I think I've ever recorded as well in terms of just laughs, enjoyability, and just craziness. So enjoy. Are you guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. You know my favorite kind of genres are hard rock, punk rock, and metalcore, and now we're going straight to that hard rock style. So friends of the podcast, both Dying Oath and Seasons, they kept telling me about this band. I'm like, it's time to listen to them, time to bring them on the podcast. They have a brand new song called Hypocrite, which is coming out on October 29th, featuring Kalvin Pender from Waking Tera, who we've had on the podcast for. So I'm ready to talk to this guy all about his music, his band, and the new song. So please welcome Will from the band Hollow Intent. So Will, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Oh, man. First of all, great name on the podcast, Chord Progression. That's fantastic. I love that. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. And it's, all the bands that you named, like we're all really good friends with, and just, share information and just have fun. That's all it's about.
Oh, that's what it's all about. And I've had fun with Seasons on the podcast twice. I've had fun with Dying Oath once, and now it's time to just have that with Hollow Intent as well. So I'm ready for this. I mean, on the day that we were recording this, the day beforehand, you guys just got done playing a show with Seasons and with the band that I'm wearing a sweatshirt of, another friend of the podcast, Go Frank and Timur, aka GFM. And kind of mad I wasn't at that show, but you said that show was absolutely electric, absolutely wild. Then you woke up this morning still feeling like you were at that show with the energy. So I got to ask, because I feel like I missed out. How was this show, man? Because my God, I feel like I missed out.
Oh, dude, and what's first off, like we had almost the same lineup back in July, and except a different opening band. And, it went really well and we were all really happy about it. But, we were invited to come back and we're like, screw it. Why not? And, so we came back and, the atmosphere was just unreal. And I think also because it like teetered on the line with Halloween and people were dressed up and there was a costume party and contests and things like that. So people kind of get out of their skin a little bit more whenever they do that, and including ourselves. So, and it was electrifying. I said it on our Facebook post when I was on the way there, and I said, I don't know if cursing's really allowed on here or not, but
it's fucking allowed on here. I don't give a shit.
Oh, good. Yeah, fucking great. So I made this Facebook post and I was like, I posted about the show and I was like, oh, it's going to be, assholes to elbows and elbows in assholes. So, and that's exactly what it was.
Okay, now if you're gonna go see a show, you're gonna want to have it something be like that, where you got ass and elbows, elbows and assholes, all that good kind of stuff. Because if you think about it, I mean, you're gonna get as many people at the show there as possible. Especially when you said it's around Halloween when the show happens, so people are dressed up, people are getting more out of their skin. There's more of a comfort level just to be yourself and to let go. And of course, when you're at a show with the bands that you end up playing with you guys, Seasons, GFM. I mean, it's just the energy level is going to be absolutely insane to the point where everyone's going to be enjoying, everyone's going to be moving, and it's going to create for one memorable night to the point where, like you said before we started, you woke up this morning, you still felt that energy and had that energy rolling.
Yeah, it was unreal. And it was the second time that I've ever felt when people were like, every time you play a show and like, there's always a couple people that know your words and they sing it. But, we have our song Superhero, and that's just an iconic line, I will be your superhero. And people were singing it, loud to the point where it was like, oh, my monitor's on, like, what's going on here? So I get goosebumps thinking about it, but it was just fun all around. We love everybody that was on the bill. And I'd turn around and go back up there tomorrow or today if I could. So,
well, shit, I should probably call like Matt and call Cindy for Seasons and be like, hey, can you guys do that again? Like, Halloween 10 wants to play again tonight. You never know, might happen.
Throw it together. I'll turn around and go up there. I'll be tired, but I'll do it.
Yeah, but it's live music. Of course, since we had the pandemic where live music was basically non-existent, it's the fact that you guys are able to get back out on stage, have a kick-ass time doing it, and just create moments where you're still feeling energized after the show. And I can almost assume that every person that went to that show woke up this morning feeling incredibly happy, ecstatic, and just energized to the point where they're ready to take on their Sunday with the high of Saturday night seeing you guys play live along with all the other bands on the bill.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, there are messages on my phone right now that I woke up to. I haven't even read. I'm just like, I'll get to it later because I just want to wake up.
So just wake up, and then of course I'm taking you away from those messages for a little bit of time so we can talk about all this good stuff with music, because you guys played that show, but also you guys played Blue Ridge Rock Fest as well, along with bands like Seasons and Dying Oath. I got to bring them up there because unfortunately though, I was not able to make your set, so I have to fully apologize on the podcast to you there because I had completely forgotten about it. I was hanging out with my friends. All of a sudden I realized what time was, like, oh, fuck, I missed Halloween 10. Damn it!
No, it's okay. Honestly, there was a lot of hiccups logistically with that. The experience was fantastic, and it's nothing to say that I'm going to say anything negative about the festival. Of course, there were some things out of their control that they couldn't help, but on the day that we played, there was a lot of things that happened at the gate, and a lot of people that literally bought one-day festival tickets to either come see us or see other bands that were on that day. We started at 12 and they didn't get in till 12:15, and that's like most of our set. So, and that was okay. I mean, like, it's going to happen. There's other shows though. So, but it was a blast, man. Seasons helped us load on, offload. We helped them out. Same thing with like Dying Oath went there, and it was just fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah, because I've spoke about on the podcast before where, because I was there, I experienced all those different hiccups, all those different issues. I'm not going to go into them again just because I did a whole entire podcast dedicated to it. But when it came to the festival specifically, it was because especially with the smaller bands, well, like Seasons, I know all the bands around those like smaller stages, it was the experience that was made from that festival was from you guys going up there playing your sets and really bringing the energy, and then us as the fans also coming out, responding, and kind of the point where if something went right, it was the live shows. It was the shows. Like, that was what went right. It was just, it was us. But unfortunately, again, like you said, like, people that had bought tickets to you guys were at the first band to go on. And of course, there were some other issues there, which again, won't go deep into, but still, you guys got to play on the bill, and it's something where because even like I found out about your name from Dino from Seasons that day. I'm like, huh, shoot, maybe I should. I'm like, I should have. I'm fucking pissed that I missed him now. I was like, all that means is I'm gonna have to go see him at a different time somewhere. I don't know where. We'll see if it's somewhere though.
I love Dying Oath. Seasons. They're recently new friends of ours, and they've brought us up to Virginia, a new place for us, and the whole city has been welcoming to us. So super thankful for that. I've known Dying Oath since just before the beginning of last year. I've been doing a lot of consulting stuff for them on the back end and social media and stuff like that. So those guys, like, they're going places. Like, we're going to be sitting here playing dad rock for the rest of our lives, and they're going to be, touring, and I'm okay with that. But, they're amazing people.
Well, I mean, you're playing the kind of music that you want to end up being playing, though, because like I was listening to some of your music, like looking through the influences that I could find online, like what influence you brought up. It's like Breaking Benjamin. I love Breaking Benjamin. Saw Chevelle in there. I'm listening to this music. I'm like, yeah, I can definitely tell the Chevelle influence in there. And then I saw Ron. I'm like, oh, I should tell Sahaj about this. Like, this makes me excited because I'm like, okay, I like all these bands. Let's see what ends up happening here. And of course, I put it this way: wouldn't have brought you on the podcast if I wasn't like, oh, I like this music, because I want to be like, oh, I like this music. So boom, here we are.
Breaking Benjamin, I've seen them playing that day when I found out. I'm not gonna lie, when I found out they were playing that day, because that's a lifelong dream to play the same day that they do somewhere, and I literally had to go probably get a new change of pants. But it was intense. I was in the middle of, funny story, I was in the middle of dealing with a client for my day job, and my phone kept going off, and I was like, what is going on? Did somebody die? Did I get a check from Ed McMahon? Like, what's going on here? And, I went to my car. I was like, excuse me, I have to go and take this. And I went to my car and I pulled it up, and I was like, I didn't fully read the messages. And I was like, oh, do they have a new song out? And I'm like scrolling through Spotify and YouTube trying to find it. Nothing. So then I reread the message, because I was a dummy the first time. And then I sat there speechless. And I was just like, all right. So I did a quick Facebook call, and I was just like, look, guys, Breaking Benjamin's playing the same festival. So if I get hit by a bus on the way home, sorry. Like, I'm okay.
Oh my God. But I mean, still, that makes a lot, like, that's just incredible. The fact that, bands that you really look up to, bands that you're influenced by, all of a sudden you're playing the same festivals that they are, and you have a chance to, have their fans see your music, listen to your music, interact with you guys to the point where all of a sudden you continue to grow your fan base. You continue to grow the people that listen to your music all across the country, because people from all across the United States were at that festival. So it just adds so much more to people getting into Hollow Intent and really starting to get behind the music as well, to the point where, like you're saying, like Dying Oath, you're expecting them to really, go out and tour and do big things. Hell, because of something like this, that could be a start for you guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's a dream. Hopefully get it one day.
Hey, I mean, you keep working at it, because you guys did the Battle of the Bands thing recently in Iowa to see if you guys were gonna be able to get on like a nationwide tour with Saul as well. So how did that end up going? Because I didn't really see much of it afterwards. I know Dying Oath had talked about it, but they unfortunately had to pull out of the show. So how did that all go? What was that experience like? Because, I mean, you guys are from North Carolina. Now you're playing shows in Iowa for a potential opening slot in a tour.
Yeah. First of all, like, Dying Oath and us have been trying to play a show where we share the same stage, and it's just like something always happens. So we're just like, oh, maybe next time. But so congratulations to Etched in Embers for winning that. First of all, they worked their asses off, and they completely deserve every single bit of that. For us, like, winning has its perks, but networking reaches far beyond that, in our opinion. So, I ended up going there, got like 30 phone numbers, talked to a whole bunch of people, and just thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was weird because when you go into the middle of the country, when like you get past Illinois and it's nothing but cornfields, and you're waiting for Jason Voorhees to walk out in the middle of the road, like, and you're just like, what? And then you get there, and the crowd is literally there to watch every single band. here we are, like everyone's from, I'd say within 3 hours of where the venue was, and we're driving 23 hours one way for a one-off show, and people are just like, y'all are fucking crazy. Like, but it was just a blast. Like, everybody was nice. Everybody was welcoming, even Saul. Like, I've been in different bands where they do those competitions and they just stay outside, but they were in there, they were watching, they were talking to people, all the other bands. It was a really, really fun time.
Well, it's fantastic to hear that you guys had a fun time, but I do agree with you the fact that, once you get like west of Chicago, all of a sudden it's like, 'cause I'm from Milwaukee, so I totally understand the area. It's like all of a sudden you get towards the cornfields, especially when you get in Iowa, and you're wondering like, okay, are we gonna have like the Children of the Corn come out? Here comes Jason Voorhees to slash us. But one thing that does end up sticking out to me is the fact that you guys went there. Edge and Embers end up winning the competition. Congrats to them again. Another band I've had on the podcast. Well, they're great people. And you guys go there, for the one-off show. People end up staying for your whole entire set. People are rocking out during the whole entire thing. And you still use that as an opportunity to connect with the fans, but also connect with all the other people that are there as a networking opportunity, because you never know what might happen. Even though you guys didn't win it, you never know where that might end up taking you, who you might have gotten in contact with for all of a sudden, another tour comes out in 2022. Like, what happens if when Chevelle ends up rescheduling their whole entire tour dates that they had planned for this year, doing it for next year? What happens if all of a sudden the opener drops off, they're looking for a new opener, and then all of a sudden, boom, people are in contact. They call you guys like, hey, you guys want to open for Chevelle? And you're just like, yeah.
Sorry, boss, I quit. See ya. Yeah, I mean, like, you're 6 people away from knowing everybody. So it's literally like, and it's not even about that. It's just about creating that relationship. And to me, like, if you're happy, then you're successful, regardless of what level you're on. So, if you want to play in your garage for the rest of your life, and that makes you, if that tickles your fancy, then tickle away. But, if your dream is to do 1 tour, to do 10, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're happy, that's all that matters, and just being around a whole bunch of people and other bands that we have never met before, and everyone's so supportive of each other. And I still talk to them like almost every day, and they're just like, hey, how was the show last night? These guys are in Iowa asking me how our show was in Virginia. Like, you can't get anything better than that, man. Like, it's so awesome.
No, you can't get anything better than that support. And that's one thing that's huge with the rock and metal community, especially something that I've seen since, I've been really made hugely a part of this for, I'd say, at least the past 3 to 4 years, where it's everyone, especially with, people that are coming up in the scene. You're seeing the connectivity there. You're seeing people treat each other as family. It's not like, it's as bands. It's like, yeah, you're playing, at the same time. You're not seeing it as a competition to see if one gets better or not. It's if that band gets better, it means people are listening to that music. People are listening to that band. And it's not like people are going to listen to just one kind of music. It's like, or one band. It's like they're going to end up wanting to diversify and get more artists they want to listen to. So all of a sudden, it helps you guys out. It helps, if you guys are successful, it helps everybody else out. It's more of like that family vibe, and the connectivity there really makes the scene go strong. But the other thing you said that really sticks out to me, something I've said in the podcast a lot, is when it comes to success, it's relative to happiness, because you can be making all the money in the world. You can have everything in the world, but if you're not happy, then what's the point? You have one life to live along with someone else's rules? No, because I've got a buddy. He's cuts metal for a living. He just got married. He's probably gonna end up having 2 to 3 kids. He wants to live somewhere, in the middle of nowhere kind of thing. And he's making his way doing it. And he's one of the happiest guys I've ever met. I'm like, how can I consider that guy like not a success? Like, the dude's doing what he wants to do. So if you're happy, fuck yeah, then you won at life, because it's your life. You fucking won.
Yeah, like there is no like measurement for happiness. Like, unless you're a one-handed person trying to measure it, like, then that's okay. But and you're trying to, but like, happiness is exactly where it's at. Like, if you're happy with where you're at, who the fuck cares about what anybody else says? When somebody's like, well, you should do this. Well, you should shut up. Like, like, but just be happy. That's why I love the scene in Eastern North Carolina. Dude, like, bands like Death of Uriah, check them out, get them on there. To Begin Anew, Head Trip Trauma, Bridge to Breakdown, all these bands, like, we're all friends. We all support each other. It's, the relationship is tighter than fresh buttholes in prison. So it's like, it's but we're all family. And it's the same thing, there's, if there's a new band that comes out, or or they haven't played in a while and they come out and they're just like, we know they haven't been out there. We're like, yo, boys, let's buy some tickets. Let's go up there and let's just support them. And you'll have like a sea of musicians as a crowd, and that's all that matters to them. That's all that matters to us is just the support and just being happy. Like, and if that's the way it is for the rest of my life, then I'm okay with that.
If that's what makes you happy, man, then keep rolling. Then you're bringing up bands like Death of Your Eye. I'm like, I know I have to get them on the podcast at some point. I just haven't reached out to them. To begin anew, I am shooting a second podcast with them a couple days after we record this one because I've recorded with them once. I saw them at Blue Ridge. I like the guys. I love Shane, Cody. I'm like, you know what? I want to have you guys on again. Let's roll with this again. But it's the fact of the matter that you guys are consistently going out and supporting the local scene there as well to help everyone achieve the goals they want to achieve. Where it's, if you're just happy playing local shows, hell yeah, then go and do that. If you're happier and you want to, go out and tour and do these bigger things, hell yeah, we're going to support you and what you want to do because hell, you succeed. It has nothing but positivity on us. So let's just, if everyone can succeed in what they want to do and be happy, especially with music, hell yeah, we're a family. That's what family should want for each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have so many people that have told me like they'll go to country shows or go to pop or hip hop shows and there's always people fighting and all this and that. And you go to a metal show and it's like, well, people are picking each other up, wheelchairs, fucking, and it's just like, that's what it's about, like you go to and I hate to do this, you go to a hip hop show and, like there's a lot of bad things that have happened there, and it's just, you go to a metal show and it's literally just like you have, local musicians getting up, trying to help you dial your sound in or troubleshoot an issue. And I mean, what can you say, dude? It's like, that's the best.
Oh, absolutely. Because when it comes to any kind of music, though, you're going to have the fans and the bands that are positively impacting it. You're going to have the fans, bands that are negatively impacting it. It's going to happen. We've seen documentation when it comes to hip hop shows, even with certain rock and metal shows, country shows. I've heard about it plenty of times where it's just people are just constantly drinking and fighting. But it's like when I see a rock or metal show, what always happens is like, yeah, they look violent, but it's like the people in the pit, like we want to be there. We have our set rules for the pit where if you get knocked down, there's like 10 people picking you back up. If you get hurt, like people will form a wall around you and wait until you feel better enough to get back up. Or if you need a medic, like they will help get someone over there. Hell, I got the wind knocked out of me and I had 2 people drag me out of the pit just so I could catch my breath before I went back in. I'm like, holy hell. Yeah, and the crowd surfers, and then all of a sudden, just at the end, so like it's if there's fights, they're never like it seems like it's violent because it's in the pit, but it's like no, we're in there for our own accord, and it's like after the songs, everyone's high fiving each other, hugging each other, everyone's having a good time, and it's an experience because we don't see it as like fan bases, we just see it as we're here, we're family, we're gonna have a good time.
Exactly, that's how it's supposed to be.
It is how it's supposed to be, and it just makes everything so much better. Before I get into the new song, though, I do want to ask you about with the fact that one of your biggest fans was the guy at Blue Ridge with the Fuck Ronnie Radke t-shirt. I got to know the story about this and how this all came to be to the moment from when, like, decided to do this to the point where, we all know what happened at the festival. Like, it was documented on Loudwire. I was there, so I saw the whole entire thing. You can watch a video on YouTube of Ronnie going, like, basically just yelling at him the whole entire time. So I gotta know, how did this all transpire?
Well, I would say I would speak on his feelings toward Ronnie, but I'm pretty sure it's made apparent.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like he's a huge super fan of ours and we respect the ever living shit out of this guy. Like, hey, do you guys need any posters printed? Hey, do you guys need any stickers printed? Like he works in a printing business, and like, he's just like constantly asking us what he can do for us. So anything this guy needs, we're going to be there. And when we saw that, we're just like, oh shit. And then people were like, yo, he's wearing your hat. And I was like, oh shit. And that's when I was just like, I'm about to get on the sauce, boys. Here we go. And then just get on. And I got online and, people are blowing it up and they're like, of course you have different opinions on it. But it was one of those things like he was able to handle it and take it himself. But believe it or not, Ronnie was incessantly messaging him on Instagram, wanting him to sign a contract to fight him for like $5,000. And, and then Ronnie, because he made those shirts where it was like, he actually made Fuck Ronnie Radke shirts. And he was, going to him. He's like, yeah, we made $480,000 off of this. And then this guy, Jason, he was like, well, then why are you going to give me $5,000? Like, give me 25%. We'll call it a day. Like, but he was still messaging him, wanting to fight him. So I just went on because we had at Blue Ridge, we released a song called The Heckler, which was unplanned. You know, especially with that and the whole MGK thing. I was just like, people were just like, you dude, like this was totally planned. I was like, I had no idea these guys were going to do this. So, you know, Ronnie kept messaging Jason. So I just started blasting, you know, Ronnie with the song. I was like, hey, this probably fits for you. Hey, check this out. Yo, dude, check this out. He read it, but he never responded, probably because he was too busy, like, doing whatever he was doing, trying to get a contract for a fight. But, you know.
That still just blows my mind, the fact that there was, like, not only that, but, like, a contract for a fight, because that's, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like, I've seen a lot of different things where different celebrities, like, you know, the YouTube celebrities trying to, like, box people and whatnot. It's like, oh, yeah, we're gonna get into boxing. You know? But that's just, I mean, that's, who knows what the hell is going on. That's just like, but the fact that you guys released a song called The Heckler, and you played it at Blue Ridge, and then the next day that happens, and then the whole entire thing with the MGK Slipknot thing literally happens like a week later. It's like, how could you guys have planned this? This is just the universe giving great timing here.
Oh yeah, I was like, and we were a little bummed because we did it, and like when we released it, it was like the Friday before we played, and then there was no cell phone signal there, so we like, well, fuck, we can't really push it, and then that happened, and I was like, the gods have blessed us. Like, you know, let's do this. And so, you know, like, oh, it was insane how that worked out. And we were just laughing our ass off. So Ronnie, if you're listening to this, I just want you to know, like, you need to listen to that song. And if you decide that you actually want to fight this guy, just know there's going to be more people than your dad's biker gang there. So yeah, we'll show up in numbers.
I'll say, can I just show up to it and be like, I just kind of want to watch this happen, because I do enjoy Falling in Reverse's music, and it's like, I mean, literally, like, I've got 2 skate decks of Falling in Reverse above my head right now, but I was there, I think this is just funny as all hell, plus, I mean, even afterwards, I think it was at Louder Than Life, like, the banner dropped out they had for Falling in Reverse, it said, fuck Ronnie Radke, I like, the shirt was the banner. It's like, okay, no, that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, and I was just like, you know, whatever. Like, the music is great. Like, you know, I know the guy that, you know, produced his best songs, like Popular Monster, Tyler Smith, you know, from Danger Kids, you know? And he also produced I Prevail's album as well. So, like, you know, like, great musician, super talented. You know, Ronnie's got a fucking voice that's beyond this fucking world, you know. But it's like, when that happens, it's like, what? You know, that's all I can say is, what? Wait, what? Okay, all right. Vroom vroom, I guess. You know,
vroom vroom, woo. Oh my god! But the thing that still surprised me about it is just the whole entire thing with the song "The Heckler," and it just literally comes out at the universe's perfect time, where, you know, you guys are playing it, and no one can get cell signal up at Blue Ridge to even, like, try and, like, you know, look for this. But then you guys get a moment like that to really work off of it with, like, karma's working its magic, man. It's working its magic.
What's funny is, like, real quick, that song was about a guy who, so we were, you know, thanking our fans, you know, because everybody knows that you buy on to get to these festivals. That's just the nature of the business, right? And you know, we were like thanking the fans and this and that, and this guy jumped on and was like, well, how are you so surprised? Like, you paid for the slot. And we're like, well, our fans helped us do that. So then that dude, like I said, everybody in the East Coast of this North Carolina music scene is super tight. And that dude got drugged for like 4 days. And then all of his socials, everything, like, he deleted everything and just bounced. Oh. So that song, if you watch that video, my shirt says "Say No to Dano," and that's literally calling out that guy. So, so the way that worked out for that, and then, you know, the Ronnie Radke and MGK, I was just like, this is great.
So if anyone's listening, one thing we can learn from this is, do not fuck with the Eastern North Carolina rock and metal scene. So
yeah.
And I'll put it this way. I know the Icon Pit Crew is based there, so Icon Pit Crew, Love you guys because, well, we moshed the whole entire 4 days at Blue Ridge and it was fun as all hell. Even in the podcast I know at Blue Ridge, like the one, like in like the things that went right section, I called those guys out specifically as the guys that really made this even better because I love moshes. I knew where the pits were every single time. They were awesome. They like roughing the pits as well, but all of a sudden, like, you know, someone needed help. Okay, boom, they took care of it. There was one guy that was crowd killing, punched the mosh ref in the face, and 20 of those guys drove that guy in the barricade and started kicking the shit out of him. I'm like, well, that guy deserved it.
That's awesome.
Like it all comes full circle. But I do also want to talk about the brand new song guys coming out. It's on October 29th called Hypocrite featuring Kalvin Pender from Waking Tera. And when I was listening to this one, I'm not gonna lie, this one really took me by surprise. I was not necessarily sure what to fully expect, or all of a sudden, like listening to the like how I'm used to seeing like how the instrumentals and the vocals will progress. I'm like, this was kind of like the other way in a way where I'm like the vocals like they were more clean in the verses, but then get to the like the chorus and like they're more rough and unclean. I'm like, holy shit, this is like the reverse of what I'm normally hearing. Holy fuck, this is awesome. So I gotta ask, when it came to Hypocrite, what was the idea behind the song, the build behind the song? Because I also try like to figure out the meanings of these songs as well, and like to see how close I came when I actually try and like figure it out. So I feel like it's kind of more, you know, easy to figure out with the title of the song, but I gotta see how close I actually came. So when it came to Hypocrite, what was the inspiration behind the song in terms of the writing it and the meaning of it?
You know, it was everything, and we never write politically. So just FYI, if anybody's looking for that, don't. We don't write politically, but there's a lot of influences from that, and you know, just two-faced people in the industry and life period in itself that just, you know, they say one thing and do another, and you know, especially there's a lot of people in my life that have done that, and it's just, all right, dude, let's just put it on to 3 minutes, you know, and, and just, we're going to call you out. And if you don't like it, you can suck it. But you know, it's just, that's really the meaning of it. It's super basic. It's super simple. And the idea coming in behind it was we wanted to hit those, you know, it's a major keyed song, and we want to hit both the major and minor keys within that, which is what we did. And, you know, doing that, you know, the people that do that a lot, Seven Dust. Who sounds like Seven Dust? Waking Tera.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've actually been, we announced it a little earlier this year, but, you know, we've been working with Corey Lowry from Seether on, you know, songwriting and production and stuff like that, just to kind of get a better grasp. You know, if you look at all of our songs prior to that, you know, they're all anywhere from like 3.5, 4 minutes long. And now they're 2 minutes, 45 seconds, 3:15, 3:30. And it's really made a difference. So, you know, having his influence on it, and then of course his influence is with his brother as well, and then, you know, KP being on it, it was just the perfect thing to do, you know. And KP's he's one of my idols for vocally. The dude's naturally talented, super nice guy, and you know, that whole band just slaps harder than a mom with a flip-flop. So like they're so good, dude. Like I love Waking Tera. But yeah, and that's what the idea, you know, as soon as we all sat down, we heard like without vocals, we heard like the basic structure of it. And we're like, we all looked at each other and we said, we need KP.
Oh yeah. I'll say like just the way that it ended up building, because when it came to the meme, like you said, like it was pretty much put out there, because that's pretty much what I got of it too. It's just calling out a lot of people that say one thing, do another, the disingenuousness of people to the point where it's, if you think back to it, like even, you know, back to like the earlier 1900s, like what you said and what you did, they always kind of had to match. It was a thing about character, it was a thing about respect. And when it comes today, it's just the lack of accountability, the disingenuousness of people that we deal with today, where they say one thing and do another. And this could come from people close to us, like our family, our friends, to people that we meet, to people that, you know, are thought leaders or like content providers, like, you know, celebrities around, or people that are in your industry, or even political leaders as well. Everyone calls it. It kind of calls out for more words and actions meeting together, and to take back a role in terms of the values that we hold, and not just to be faking around it. So that's kind of where I took from it. Again, it's pretty simple to figure out, especially from just the title. But when you listen to the song, it even shows more of that. But it does definitely have a little bit more of this like heavier, like Chevelle-ish inspiration sound with your sound, and also like kind of bring a little more of a Seven Dust flow as well to it, which is totally, I can see why Kalvin Pender fits on this track as well, because his voice just adds to it. But the thing that stuck out the most to me, like I said, was it was the vocals. That was really what got me, because all of a sudden they get the verses, they're clean. There's a little bit of distortion behind them. It makes it seem like we're speaking from behind like some sort of like like there's something in between us, kind of like a wall in a way. And like the tone is reminiscent kind of like of a Chevelle tone, but it's the style that helps get more in our minds to think about like people in our lives that are hypocritical, if they're even worth having around, or if we're being hypocritical, if it's a mind opener. And the unclean transition out of this really stands out to me as like, wait, there's more, like this is more than just a hard rock song. We have uncleans in here? What the shit?
Yeah, it was really cool. Like the writing, I wanted to do something completely different. And, you know, the verses in a lot of ours, like they're, you know, they can be a little rough around the edges, but we're always trying to like be out, like we want to be different and outside the box in that sort of concept. You know, how many choruses out there with a hard rock band are straight dirty?
Yeah.
You know, like, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's, you know, there's no tonality to it. And there's nothing. It's just straight, like raw belting of just, you know, the vocal growls and the yelling, and it's just almost to the point of being out of control. And it's just, you know, I view it like you said. I love how you put it, where it was, you know, there's something in between us, you know. And you know, I viewed it when I was writing like I was standing on a podium, like preaching to these people. And so when you said that, I was like, ooh, nice.
Yeah, it's like if you're on a podium, you're on a stage preaching to people. There's gonna be that separation of space, but it's like, you know, you're higher above them, so that separation does show there. So I could totally, you know, all of that matchup right there. We even get to the pre-chorus of the vocals as well, and that's you get the clean tone again with more of the smoother melodic tone, but then you get the unclean back, like the heavier backgrounds harmonizing in this. And I think is that where Kalvin came in to kind of add more to it.
He started in the second verse.
Okay,
that's where in the second verse, but like you know, it was one of those things where it was like, because it's a minor key over a major key in the pre-chorus, so it's like, you know, just like when I do it live, I actually do this crazy octave thing, but that's just because it adds more flavor and pizzazz. But in there, when it's just like, you know, the wars you wage, you know, like that vocal like bestiality into it, you know, just I don't know why I said bestiality. That's just fucking horrible. But you know,
the beastliness of it.
Yeah, beastliness.
There we go. We'll take it from potentially just really messed up to something that definitely describes the vocals as more ferocious instead of just like, what the fuck are we actually talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, having that and then Kalvin in there. And, you know, when we were sitting there, we listened to the song after he did the verse and did some of his screens. And I was like, you know what, man, like, let's seven dust the shit out of this. Like, so, you know, at the end where it's like, hypocrite, you're a hypocrite, you know, and it's just like that back and forth, you know, distance of just, you know, taking turns. And it was just like, ooh, yeah, that's it.
And it's like that back and forth. I was like, you're a hypocrite, like kind of constantly going back and forth there. When you're providing two different vocal sets that show that, it shows that this isn't just one person thinking this. There's more people that feel about this. And it's not just, you know, an isolated incident. It shows more of this connectivity to how many people actually feel the exact same way about the people in our lives that are, you know, maybe close to us or maybe just people of influence, where they say one thing and then their actions are the exact opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, you know, like, again, with that pre-chorus, that harmonization, like, I love the harmony part because it shows it, again, it just isn't you that thinks this. Shows, like, that others see this as a problem as well in the world today. And the problem is that a lot of us, like, we want to see this problem fixed, but we have to be the fix, and the melodic construction of this pattern adds to the build so that we will have to be the ones that make that change. But then the chorus came in, and I was not expecting those dirty vocal, like the unclean. I was like, holy crap. And they had this more angry, even snarl to them that also work melodically against the instrumentals that are in the back of this. And I'm just like, this is so damn cool, because when we deal with people who say one thing and then do the opposite, it creates a sort of anger and resentment towards them because they're not being the genuine people. They're not having the character, the integrity behind this. And this is the anger coming out in the form of us wanting to make a change in life. And it's either kicking them out of our lives or holding others to those values of just having integrity, having character that we hold dear. Like, again, like keeping your fucking word.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's accountability, you know, like if you keep your word, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but then, you know, you come along the lines and you're hypocritical and you start fucking some people over. That's when we come out and make you popular.
Yeah, it's just like, God damn. Holy shit. Because even like I gotta keep going with the vocals. You get to the bridge to breakdown transition. There are 2 words whispered until we get this gnarly, unclean scream into the bridge breakdown that has this nastier snarl to it overall. I'm like, holy shit! I'm reading off what I wrote for this because I wrote notes for this thing, not mess up. Like, this is cool because it gives the heaviness right back and gives the instrumentals to have the power to show the anger, the heaviness of the topic, but also allows those instrumentals to create a feeling of action actually being taken and taken by you to make the change you want to see in life when it comes to those who are hypocritical, whether it's holding them to a different standard and maybe helping them actually develop this sort of character integrity, or if they're not going to want it, just literally give them the boot and kick them the fuck out of your life.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's... I fucking love that breakdown. Is one of my, it's so simple, it's one of my favorite breakdowns to play. Like last night when we did it, we've never had people jump. Like, it's always been like a mosh pit, you know what I mean? And when we did it, like, everybody just started jumping and we're like, we got to do this, guys, come on. You know, but yeah, dude, like that breakdown, you know, it's like those words that you will pay, you know, it's just, and it's so that touched the top of my range, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest on that.
hey, if you got to go and try and touch top of your range and make something like that happen, where normally it's going to get people mosh, but all of a sudden people are jumping up and down at the same time as well, we're able to do both of those things. Hell, I'm all for it. Of course, if I was there, I'd be like, you know, I want a mosh during this thing because that's just my style. And like when that breakdown hit, it was like this hard rock heavy burst style breakdown with the guitars and bass chugging along in that melodic burst and the drums hitting the crash and bass on beat as the tom and snares provided more fills around the whole entire thing. And it points to that boiling over point of hypocritical people on you. You've had enough, so it's time to call them out and force change one way or another. So like it just has that emotion, it has that drive, it has that power behind it. And it got me where I'm like, let's just see what this song is like. At the end, I'm just like, was not expecting them to even go that hard, but god damn, I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I love that song, man. It was one of those songs that we made and like we did it in a practice and we're like, yo, this is next. You know, and you know, some things need to marinate like a fine wine, you know, they just need to breathe. And you know, this was one of those songs that just kind of hit and we were like, all right, let's do this.
And then, and of course, you guys are releasing, you know, end of October 2021, where, again, now we're seeing, like, you know, more live shows back, but as we're getting in the winter months, I'm not seeing as many tours pop up as I had, you know, come around, like, you know, August, September, because a little bit colder outside, not seeing as many of those outside shows. Plus, on top of that, well, every band tried to go on tour right as like the whole entire pandemic basically broke. So it's like, okay, now we got to scale back a little bit. It's like we're getting that little bit of a lull here. So as that lull, like the live shows kind of start to happen a little bit, you guys are releasing this to the point where, you know, people are still going to want new music. And that Eastern North Carolina scene, I feel like is going to just latch onto this song, gravitate towards it, hold it dear to the point where all of a sudden, like, I'm going to see Dying Oath post about this when it gets released. I'm going to see Season. I'm going to see Beginning New, Death of Your Eye. We're going to see all these different bands post about this. And it's going to end up starting to, like, sprinkle into all these other places as well. To the point where, I mean, you never know what might happen. You might get so much support on this thing. All of a sudden, Octane is forced to pick it up.
That would be wonderful. That'd be great. Save us some cash on that.
Yeah, instead of doing like a whole on have to do the full like Octane campaign thing. No, if we get enough people like force their way onto it, you never know what might happen. All of a sudden, it's like, let's just get as many people blasting every single DJ, get them blasting Jose, Grant Random, Babs, everybody just requesting that this song gets played on Octane, because all of a sudden it's gonna be like, is this supposed to be on Octane? Oh, this has like a hard rock 7 Dust flavor to it and it's heavy? Yeah, this belongs on fucking Octane.
I mean, that's what Saul did.
Mm-hmm.
They were just like, yo, request it. And their fans came in full force. And then guess what? Now there you go.
That's what Saul did. That's what Any Given Sin did. That's what Kingdom Collapse did. And now Kingdom Collapse is like a freaking Octane darling. I still love those guys. I'm good friends with them. So I'm like, I love those guys. Like, I love seeing it happen. And the fact of the matter is, like, we've seen the basis for it happen. I've seen it happen with 3 bands where fans are able to rally around. And with that Eastern North Carolina scene, there are a lot of people that are in that scene as well. Like, you guys have the chance to just do this potentially by yourselves. It's going to require a lot of work, a lot of effort, and just a lot of consistency. But with the amount of people you guys have, you guys can easily pull this off. You just got to work at it.
Yeah, man. We have a great fan base and great support system in the Eastern North Carolina. So I mean, it's just, you know, and touching base, funny. So Etched in Embers, Any Given Sin, I think it's called Take the Day.
Yeah.
Take the Day and Saul, all produced by Chris Dawson, who he was the guitarist for Seasons After. This guy knows what the fuck he's doing. So if anybody wants great production, go see him.
We're just like, again, this is one thing that I absolutely love is like, because we're talking about your music. We're talking about your stuff as well, how good it is. We're talking about other bands as well, but we're supporting all these other bands. Like we talked about, again, Saul, Seasons, Dino, that they're like to begin anew. You guys, you just mentioned a whole bunch of other right there, like Take the Day, and you can a lot of these other. We don't want to see you guys fail. We want to see you succeed because a success with bands in the rock and metal industry, it just helps everybody out because you guys get to produce music. The scene gets a lot more eyes on it. More fans come in. It's just a beautiful thing. Let's just keep growing this family, man.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And doing things like this where you were cool enough to let us come on. That's fantastic, man.
Well, I love having you guys on. And when it comes to Hypocrite, one thing too is I like to wrap everything up in an overall to kind of give everyone a summary. If I was writing a press release, which I'm still trying to do, which we'll see how well that ends up going. But I put overall, this song caught me off guard. In a good way. Given the fact it's all about people who don't mean what they say or say one thing and do something contradictory and us wanting to hold those people to a standard of being a decent human being, I could see where the heaviness would come in. The instrumentals having a continuous flow from verse to pre-chorus to chorus works very well to show the feeling of doing what you say and not being hypocritical. It shows consistency. But it's the vocals going more clean the verses and the pre-chorus to unclean the chorus, which really stands out. It shows the building resentment towards the situation, the connection that it is not all us that are, wanting this, that we all want change, and the anger to make that change. But a hard rock song having a nasty, heavy breakdown that flows perfectly in with the song, it perfectly fits to take action that you want to see to the hypocrites in life. Heavy and hard, just the way you want it to be.
Much appreciated, man. That's fantastic. Great job. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I think I probably was working on the song for maybe about half hour, 45 minutes. I'm like, I'm working through this. I got to get this figured out. And that's what I came up with.
No, it's spot on, dude. You were 100% right on that. And kind words are much appreciated.
Well, I mean, they're kind words, but they're truthful words because, well, the song fucking kicked ass. So we gotta get the whole entire Eastern North Carolina rock scene and even the Virginia scene as well to support these guys. And let's just, funnel the requests in Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can to get this song on Octane because all of a sudden, with more than enough support, with more than enough people bringing it up, it's gonna force their hand at some point.
Exactly.
So, Will, as we bring this podcast to a conclusion, one thing I always like to do is give my guests a chance to say anything they want to say, promote whatever they want to promote, plug whatever they want to plug. So, Will, at the moment, the floor is yours.
Sweet. I'm glad the floor is mine. I pretty much own it. No, I'm just kidding. No, thank you to everybody, people like you and everybody that allows us to do these podcasts and just get the word out, that enjoy the music just as much as we do, and all of our endorsements, which there's like Bandivius, Maverick Apparel Company, Dirtbag, Bellator Roasting Company. They make our own coffee for us. And then, yes, whiskey flavored, by the way. Them, and then turning around and like Ditto Music. And I mean, there's so many people that have just helped us out so much. And, and mostly like the fans in the Eastern North Carolina scene, just shouting it out to that and our family and friends. It's just, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So big thanks to them.
Well, that's a great way to close out. But now it's my time to close out with, I usually do 3 things, but this time I'm adding a 4th one in here. So first thing first, when it comes to Hollow Intent, when it comes to finding Hypocrite, listening to it online, when it comes to buying it, downloading, whatever it comes to, supporting these guys, wherever online, social media, whatever. You guys are going to want to do this. You want to like their stuff, share their stuff with your friends, subscribe to all their social media, everything. But I know everybody. You're not going to want to have to search all this stuff up. So you're going to make me do it right. Damn right I'm going to do it. So look at the description of the podcast, YouTube, Spotify Podcast, iHeart Radio, and Amazon. You're going to see something that says Find Hollow Intent Online. Links, labels, use one click, one-stop shop. It's going to make it super easy on you guys to follow them, connect them online. So whenever they're going to go back out and play live shows, go back on tour, you guys can go end up seeing them play live, which I want to do because, well, seems like a great idea. Plus, I love live music, so why the fuck not? Check out Hypocrite as well. Just really get into the band. Second thing is, normally, this is going to be the thing I add. So when Hypocrite does come out, on the bottom of the YouTube video, you're going to see push this bad boy on Octane, or push this song on Octane. So the Eastern North Carolina scene and the Virginia scene, and of course, anybody else listening to the podcast. What I want you to do is keep requesting to the DJs on Octane to play Hypocrite by Hollow Intent. Just keep it up. Just keep going, because the more we do it, the more likely they are going to, have to play it. Like we saw with Saul, Take the Day, Any Given Sin, Kingdom Collapse. We've seen it happen before. We know it can happen. I know you guys can do it, so just keep it up and we'll make it happen. So that's my challenge to you guys. Now, number 3, whenever I have guests in the podcast that I enjoy having on, I like to make a certain promise to them. And this has happened every single time I've had guests in the podcast. And, sir, you have not broken this streak in the slightest. So the promise is not an if. If implies possibility of even happening. I'm going to say when, because when implies it's going to happen. Right now, date and time TBD. So when I can see Hollow Intent perform live for the first time. My promise to you is this, sir. First round's on me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And make sure you hold me to that as well. And as hell, if it's with Seasons as well when you guys are playing, I owe them drinks as well. So we're all going to end up having a good time together anyway.
Yeah, if you show up and you forget, I'll just play Hypocrite over the speakers.
You'll play Hypocrite over the speakers, and then I'll be like, damn it,
yeah.
he did it. He did it. And then I'm going to end up coming over with like 2 shots of whiskey and be like, these are both for you. And I just get the beer. Why? Because, well, I messed up, so I don't get the good stuff right now. So, as I bring this podcast close to the 4th thing, I cannot end this with a goodbye for the sole fact that I'd love to have you back in the podcast again. I want to see what happens with Hypocrite, see if we can get that thing pushed on Octane, like we saw with, again, Saul, Take the Day, Any Given Sin, King Collapse, see if we can make that happen with the North Carolina scene. Plus, I want to go hang out with those guys as well, see you guys play live, and just have a great time. So, I feel like I got to come out to North Carolina and go out to Virginia for something like that, because that just sounds like a hell of a lot of fun. So, end this podcast with goodbye. Hell no. I got to end it with see you later. Well, folks, that was my interview with Will from the band Hollow Intent. Their brand new song, Hypocrite, is out now, so let's push this bad boy on Octane. So if you're from the Eastern North Carolina scene, if you're from the Virginia scene listening to this, or if you're just listening to this outright, go online. Go and request Hypocrite by Hollow Intent to be played on Octane. Tweet it at the Octane. Tweet it at the DJs. Instagram message them, whatever it might be, to get them to know. We've seen it work with Saul, Any Given Sin, Take the Day, and Kingdom Collapse. Most of them friends of the podcast. Well, so let's make it happen here once again. Just keep tagging them, keep posting about it, keep making it happen. When it comes to Hollow Intent, though, please follow them online. Please make sure you stick with them, because they've got big things coming up in 2022 for you. So take a look in the description of the podcast. Find them all online with their socials, where you can watch their videos on YouTube, where you can connect with them, where you can buy some merch, where you can stream their music, where you can buy music. Everything's in the description of the podcast, along with us at the Chord Progression Podcast as well. So please follow us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast. We have YouTube stuff out podcast, iHeart Radio, and of course Amazon as well. So you can get it on your Amazon Alexa if you want to. Yeah, we did that. So make sure you do that. All links in the description of the podcast below. I also want to thank our sponsors, Phoenix Fitness and Custom Debuts. When it comes to Phoenix Fitness, you get 15% off your order using the code MSOTD at checkout. When it comes to Custom Debuts, you get 10% off your entire order using code CPP10 at checkout. So please make sure you guys go and do that. I want to thank you guys very much for making that happen as well. And thank you for watching this episode of the podcast or listening to this episode of the podcast. Hope you had fun. And on that note, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast, brought by MSOTD Rocks, Rock and Metal Thrive, where my name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of these episodes with a big, healthy, and hearty see ya.